I will be very short and sweet.
Go.
Get it over and done with. Let's move on. Let's get a new coach in. I'm just not enjoying it. Welcome back to Lose to Win the podcast with myself, Jack. Tonight we've got Ben back and we've got Josh. How are you doing, guys?
Hey, good evening. Very well, mate. Good to be back. Thank you very much.
Yeah, welcome back, mate. Missed you last week.
Oh, I miss you boys too.
Indeed.
I enjoyed the pod very much. Very much.
Good. Yeah, Aaron's
Great
a top
guest.
boy, and he really.
Yeah, fantastic. Bless him. Really working hard for those boys down there, and what a fantastic story. So, bonkers, really.
I was saying to Josh at football, I think I knew a lot of what he had done, but not to that extent, and kind of the detail behind it, and again, not just him, but his amazing team around him. So yeah, very impressive. So much good feedback from it as well. I've had a few messages on Facebook and other bits and pieces saying what inspirational story. Just it shows that it's more than it is just more than that weight loss league, isn't it? It's more what we can do together, and the power of multiple people getting together and doing good things. So yeah, amazing.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
How are you, Josh?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, very good.
Post Vegas shed, and we'll come on to later.
Yeah, feeling good. It feels a bit mundane though. I have to admit, life feels, you know what I mean.
After Vegas,
you go away on holiday, and then you come back. And
it's tough, isn't it? 2 weeks is a long time to take out of the game, and then it takes a while to get back into it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, life in general, like getting back into work and getting back into the sort of daily, day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, the holiday blues as well must kick in. That's my biggest fear when it comes to things like that.
Yeah, it's not been too bad though. Obviously, the community is a massive thing for that because I was so involved, as you know, in all the games and that it was just pretty easy to fall back into it. It's only 2 weeks, and it's not like I've been away forever. No,
definitely. A boss I used to work for a long time ago. He used to say he lived for his holidays, he lived for his family holidays. So he basically, any time things were tough, he's like, I've just got that to look forward to. He always had to have something booked and always had something to work towards and know that that's the date that he's getting his reward for his hard work. And it makes so much sense. I respect it a lot, and I try and do the same. We've got a nice family holiday in August with Lisa's side of the family, and then I'm back for a couple of weeks, and I'm off back out to Alicante for some more golf with my golfing buddy. So having these things booked and having things to look forward to is super important. And I always used to be about material things. Now a lot about the experience of things and doing stuff to remember, especially with the kids growing up as well. It's loads of things that I remember doing, amazing trips and amazing holidays with my family, and I'm very lucky that my parents were able to do that sort of thing for us, and I want to do the same for my kids for sure.
Yeah, cool, man. I've got a couple of weeks booked in August, and I'm definitely counting down the days.
Yeah. It's dragging now, isn't it? In my line of business, we're noticing already a lot of people. It goes in. It's very seasonal, but also it goes in kind of waves of people taking holiday now when it's nice weather, but the kids aren't on holiday, and then they come back, and then the people that do have kids, they bugger off. So it's getting hold of anybody, older decision makers at this time of year is always a bit of a head banging exercise, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So all good fun. Anyway, less about me. Let's jump into the roundup if you're ready, Josh. Let's see how good your weight loss really was.
Yeah, I mean, as a league, it was glass half empty or half full, depending on which way you see it. Another impressive week of individual performances, and we'll get to the team of the week in a minute. But and some excellent team performances, but still only 12 kilo loss for the club as a whole. Now that's nothing to shake a stick at, but obviously 12, we've had consistently better losses than that for the previous couple of seasons, you know, circa 20 kilos plus. Mm-hmm. So there's some space to grow into, essentially. And we did also see 3 teams have collective gains this week as well, unfortunately. So like Southgate's England, and again, we'll probably come to this later, and I should stress at the time of recording, that is, the results are just about seeing us through, but it's hardly exciting. So
well,
one thing that is
I
exciting.
don't know. The last minute
Okay.
Bellingham equaliser was pretty exciting.
Okay.
Definitely.
After 95 minutes of dross. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. One thing that is exciting, along with that Bellingham overhead, is the goals flying in even more frequently. More and more every single week it seems to be at the moment. So we've had plenty of big pitch results. I can't remember them all precisely this week, individual the pitch results anyway, but the overall results are as follows. So us yellows beat the purples 16-9. It was a tough game, wasn't it? Yeah, I know. But I thought it was a good game. I thought it was played in. I thought it was quite frantic, high intensity. Well,
it was a good
pace,
game.
but
it was a good game. Yeah. Just we lost.
Yeah. I guess there was 3-0, wasn't it, in the end? So,
it was. Yeah.
The Blacks and the Blues, which we'll come to a bit more in a minute, was a very top of the table clash, as Jack will probably talk about in a minute. But your Blues pulled out a big 23-17 victory against the Blacks.
Yeah.
It's a massive one there.
Absolutely. One thing to note for that is that was the biggest goal scored this season overall.
Yeah.
And
totally,
and all 9 that turned up lost weight as well. So
amazing.
We really had to put it on the Blacks. I'm sure we'll come to it and have mentioned plenty of times that they are, I think, the team to beat on and off the pitch. They seem to be absolutely on it, and we knew that we needed a big result, and that's what we managed to pull out the bag, thankfully, with a couple of cheeky milestones.
Yeah, saw that. Well done, mate. Awesome.
Yeah. The Whites won 13-10 against the Reds, and the Oranges won a close one, 12-11 against the Greens. Wow. So, and that's kind of credit to last man standing, because last man standing goals did kick in this week, as 6 players were eliminated to leave precisely 30 remaining. The Oranges were the only team who saw LMS turn defeat into victory, as just mentioned. Wow. So with 5 bonus goals to Greens 1, proving decisive. At least the Greens still have a Scales League win to console themselves with, as last man standing doesn't count in Scales League. Elsewhere, as we mentioned, the game of the week was the top of the table clash between Blues and Blacks, which finished, as we said, 23-17 to the Blues. And your Blues milestones, as you mentioned, were the 2 proving the biggest difference, essentially. Absolutely. I assume it would have been a draw otherwise. So
yeah, absolutely, it would. Yeah, makes a difference.
A tight one. I know in speaking to the Blacks, and this is not Craig won't mind me saying this at all, but I know that when I spoke to them after the game, I asked them, "Do you think you've done enough?" And they just immediately said, "No, we don't think we've done enough. We think they've all lost weight and they've all smashed it." So, and I know a couple of them had not poor weeks, but just not the same weeks they've been having previously. So I think they kind of knew at the end of the game it was going to be a bit of a.
That's harsh though. When you scored 17 goals to still think you've lost, that's it means the other team's gone hell for leather. So fair play, Jack. Fair play on that one. Crikey.
Yeah, it was a tough one, definitely. And I think did Steve mention it? Any other result, any other team they would have played, they would have won, wouldn't they? Or there or thereabouts.
It's funny, he didn't mention that in the report. I don't know that, but I imagine that would have been the case. They would have won against any other team, assuming that pitch out's been told, because they were the second highest scorers of 17. So the week.
There we go.
It's really harsh when that happens.
I know it well. You know well enough, Benjamin.
But very well done, Jack, and the Blues. Very well done.
I can't take credit for it. The hard work, the boys. Keep going, lads. Well done.
Yeah, you're all a team, matey. Buddy, you're all a team. You have to lose. Everyone has to lose weight, and you're in that 9, so you lost weight, right? Oh no, you weren't there. You were there. You were there. The week before you were there.
I was there. You lost weight. Yeah.
Good lad. There you go. So you are doing your bit.
Yeah, thank you, mate.
So there were 15 hat-trick heroes, by the way, and as we mentioned, 3 milestone men, all new members of the 5% club. So Chris Malone of the Greens was one of the trio, and he's joined by the Blues, Ant Skirman and Russ Palmer.
Well done.
Very well done.
Is that Russ hitting his 5%?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that the first time he's hit that, or did he reset?
No, I think it's the first time he's
It's the first time.
Really? Oh, God bless him.
Yeah.
That's a big one then for him, because he's been going a long time, and I know he's struggled.
Yeah,
well done, mate. Brilliant.
Yeah. He's been amazing and such an important member of the group. He's really embraced the group mentality with it, sharing pictures of his weird and wonderful food that he's trying and working hard and the exercise and everything else. So he's really brought in, and we're super lucky to have somebody like Russ as well.
Good lad. Yeah, good man.
Top man.
Yeah, it's funny. Just speaking on that quickly before I move on, Steve Norton in our group sent us a picture of a smoothie he made that he stumbled across, that he's now going to think it's the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
His spinach, kale, apple, and mango.
Ooh,
in a smoothie.
Apple and mango sells it for me. I love a fruity
he says,
twist to it.
Throw half a glass of that, half a glass of water, a scoop of protein powder, and a few mint leaves into the blender, and it's the top best thing he's had, basically.
Is that what he's living on now then?
I don't know, but he's saying if you like Greek yogurt, then it's a good thing.
Fair play.
It's pretty thick as it is, so what he said, he have like one decent sized, like probably 500 ml or so. It's 160 calories or something. So
okay,
yeah.
Just one a day is he going for?
I don't know, honestly. He didn't say, but he said he felt pretty full for a few hours afterwards. So.
Fair play.
Just thinking on my feet, these are the sort of things that we'd like to hear from the community more. I know that they share it amongst your teams, but if we can get them and maybe share them on here, and tip of the day from somebody that's doing well this season or suddenly found something that really ticks the bill for them. I know it's cheesy, but I know that they do a similar sort of thing, and my wife's told me and has cooked up stuff before for like Slimming World, where will take something in that they've found that is low in sin or whatever they do.
Yeah.
But take it and share those recipes and have a conversation about it. I'm not saying cook them up, but if you can bring them to us here and tell us about them here, we can share them with people that listen.
Definitely.
Well, I'll gather some up because Steve's been an absolute godsend in our chat for that kind of thing. He's been sending us some Korean barbecue chicken bites and things like this that he's done. Yeah, so things like this he's found recipes for. So so I'll make sure I gather some up for next pod.
Yeah,
okay, so if he doesn't want
to share them, get in touch.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, back to the thing as we were saying. So that was and Russ for your Blues then hit 5%. I should say, by the way, Chris and Ant both started at the club at the same time.
Wow.
So just over a season ago. While, as you mentioned, Russ has been on a longer journey with us.
Yeah.
And it's great to see that all three are getting a reward for their commitment. So well done, lads. Keep it going.
Yeah, well done, boys. Keep it up.
Yeah. I myself fulfilled a long-held ambition by leading Team of the Week. No, actually, I think it is the first time I've ever led Team of the Week.
First time leading it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I just can't hit these kind of numbers when
I don't think I've ever been in Team of the Week.
And if you think about people who are like, it's a lot of people in this league. People, not even people just in maintenance. People outside who chip away slowly. 0.4s, 0.5s, 0.6s. They're not going to make Team of the Week, unfortunately, with that kind of thing often. And if they do make Team of the Week, then generally speaking, and this is no disrespect, it's probably been a pretty poor week overall for the club.
Yeah.
So, but that's nothing to sniff at, by the way. That's in no way am I saying that at all. That's brilliant. But I just personally, I struggle to hit that kind of number. I have been in Team of the Week. In fact, in my first season, I was in it quite regularly, first couple. But I just, not to lead it anyway. Because it's usually you have to get 2.5 plus kilos. So yeah. So my loss then was top those team. It was 3.9 kilos. I lost.
Well done, mate.
So 2 of this week's milestone man as well, Ant Skerman and Chris Malone, joined me in that side. While Mike Morris is the only player to retain his place from last week.
Very good.
I should mention Matt Waterman of your Purples was just 0.3 kilos away from making 4 in a row.
Yeah,
wow.
So,
he's absolutely smashing it, Matty. I can't fault the guy. He's just absolutely totally bought into it, and he's totally flying, and he's at the top. And God bless him, he should stay at the top of the top scoring. It's just it's a difficult one. We were talking about it the other day because he can't really win it with the You can't win top scorer if you've got a few people on maintenance who are banging it in every week. So it's a shame, but he'll be there or thereabouts come the end of the season. He's smashing it week in, week out. So
it has been done though, isn't it? There is. If he's milestones wise, he can probably.
He's done both his milestones. He's hit 2 already this season.
Has he?
He's hit his 2 milestones and he's lost weight every week.
Well, he'll get the last man standing goals, haven't he? So if
yeah.
So keep
they
going.
They don't count for top. They don't count for top goal scorer. They last man standing.
They go miscellaneous, don't they?
Yeah. So that's one of the little quirks of the maintenance. The maintenance issue, should we call it that? If you've got people on maintenance who turn up week in, week out, they can smash the top scorer because they get a goal every week.
Yeah, we definitely had this conversation in the Purples last season with Luke's desire to achieve that top goal scorer, and
that's right. The only way he could do it was to hit maintenance, right?
Yeah, exactly. And admittedly, he had to do that, but admittedly, he was in a very difficult season where summer holidays weren't involved. I think Matt might get a little extra reprieve. The fact that people like Ryan are going to take a summer holiday. I know he's due away next week or this week or something.
Yes,
but that
next
type
week.
of person taking some summer holiday in this block of season, he might be able to do it. But I completely agree with you. It'd be nice to have a with and without the maintenance guy, so there's a recognition of it or something like that. I know it's Man Fat are stuck in their ways and have their ways about it, but
But at the same time, it's for someone in maintenance to stay in maintenance is a massive achievement in itself as well.
Yeah.
So
and I think that's reflected. I know. I think it's just reflected in that way. I think people always say it's it's hard to lose weight, but it's even harder to keep it off.
Yeah.
And I think well that's the general consensus on, and I think people who've been in maintenance will probably say that's probably the case. And
yeah, definitely.
As such, the scoring is weighted ever so slightly, maybe heavier towards those in maintenance. I'm not saying that's done deliberately like that, but
well, there needs to be a carrot, doesn't there? You've got to dangle a carrot for people who are in maintenance. You've got to give them something to work towards, and if that's it, then so be it, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, so I should just go through the full lineup for the team of the week.
Sorry.
So no, not at all. I myself lead with 3.9 kilos.
So you've told us.
Yes, right.
That's why I wanted to go back then.
No. And Skirman was second with 2.5. Michael Burt had 2.5. Chris Malone had 2.2. George Howe had 2 kilos. Liam Dancer, new to the greens, he's 1.7.
Well done.
And Mike Morris with 1.6.
Brilliant.
We did mention, as you say, Matt Waterman as well, who had 1.3 kilos and didn't make the team of the week.
Unlucky, mate.
4 in a row. So much like Southgate's England, it feels like we're underachieving in general. A modest loss is a good thing for us, at least. Not so much for Gareth, of course, and the boys. But like them, we're failing to add up to the sum of our parts, and we need everyone to show the form that we're capable of. 48, I should say, out of 69 players lost weight this week, so that's very good going, of course. But this just golden generation of Mavi Fat Bournemouth, can achieve so much more than when we are together, essentially. So that's Steve's roundup. I'm a little bit more positive on it. I think a loss is a loss. We're still going in the right direction. We've got some, as we say, impressive individual stuff, but more than that, as teams, it's competitive, and I think that will continue to drive the losses. And where otherwise we might have some poor weeks, and in particular in the summer when a lot of people are on holiday, I imagine that's reflected in the overall weight. So,
I did actually put some weight on for the first time this season. I did actually put a little bit on, but it was my birthday, so and the football was on, so I cannot tell a lie. I did indulge slightly in a bit of birthday cake and a few beverages and a couple of meals. So I do, and I own that, and that's fine. I'm back on it again this week. However, it is my wife's birthday tomorrow. And then next week it's my son's birthday as well.
Oh God!
But I'm trying to maintain. I'm trying to be strong. So I'll be a loss this week, I'm sure.
I think where we and obviously Man Be Fat promote the little and often kind of mentality with weight loss as the sustainable way.
Yeah,
it's difficult. You kind of taking one hand and giving with the other. Sorry, whichever way that saying is, but to kind of go, 48 of us lost weight, but it was only a small amount. I think you kind of, are you going to ever get both? I think probably not. It's a special week and a miracle week when we get both, and loads of weight and loads of people losing. But I think I think as a league we're continuously losing weight. So at some point that weight is less to lose. So you kind of think about it that way and know that we'll get new people in, and there's people that have struggled over time and whatever it may be. But yeah, it's like you say, Josh, it's really important to be positive about it as well, and keep positive. If you've lost a little bit this week, do the same next week, and for the rest of the season you'll be in a good place.
Absolutely. Yeah, I concur.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anyway, that was it for the roundup, lads.
I enjoyed it. I have to apologise. I did get a little bit aggy on the pitch last week. I was getting very frustrated, and that's not like me.
Really, I didn't really notice.
Good. Because someone shouted at me from the sidelines, so I got a bit aggy and kicked the fence, and someone shouted at me, "We don't want to see that round here." I don't know who it was.
Oh, really?
I ignored them anyway.
Yeah.
I missed the game.
I think it was shortly after. We were on first, were we?
Oh,
we were on first.
Yeah. So I watched that entire game, mate. I didn't notice you getting aggy, so don't worry.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
good.
Nor did I. I was in it. I was playing.
I thought I was reeling away. I thought I'd scored, and I was reeling away, scoring, and the ball came back off the inside of the post. I was fuming.
Ah, yeah. Somebody said actually, he ran off as if he'd scored. Yeah,
I did. Yeah, I did.
That part, you started. You were next to me. I couldn't get on it, and you started like screaming as though you scored in the last half a metre. It was rolling towards the post. I thought,
and then it kind of bounced out. I was fuming. Yeah. But hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles, isn't it? Eh?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So let's talk other football bits.
Go for
it. Should we? The laborious subject of our wonderful national team is obviously
well. Should we come back to that in a bit?
We'll
talk about that for.
Give me something so I can switch off for that bit.
Should we talk, because obviously I know the Euros is on, and we'll come to a bit more about our predictions and how we feel it's going so far, but before that, obviously there are things going on in the background with club football, not that we see much of it, and there'll be more transfer business and various things after the Euros, absolutely.
It'll warm up.
But there has been action, and particularly around PSR or FFP or whatever you want to call it, deadlines. I say deadlines.
That was the
30th of 31st or 30th of June. So only a couple of days ago. And it's kind of obvious, isn't it, who's struggling, who's not?
Yes.
How those ones. I mean, we knew. So people like Chelsea, they sold Amari Hutchinson for insane money somehow to Ipswich.
Yeah. He is fast, but I'm surprised Ipswich are taking. I don't think it's much of a gamble because they know who he is, but it's a big amount of money to spend on a promoted team to spend on one player, I think.
Yeah.
I hope he does well.
Agree. Yeah, same. But they then brought in Dewsbury Hall for so a little bit of money, less money, I think, but brought in Dewsbury Hall. I'm just trying to think. There's Villa have had to get rid of bloody Douglas Luiz.
Yeah, that's mad, isn't it?
And swapped him for some players from Juventus.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that bit. They've done it. I don't know what the deal was, the swap stuff. So is it?
You can swap.
So is it something about the swaps player's value? So even if you have a net zero, it's something to do with the value of the player you've swapped them at goes towards your books.
Yeah,
is that correct?
Probably. So if they all weren't on the radar of the Premier League, they definitely are now with some of these deals, aren't they? They're kind of showing that there is something not that they're really worried about, and it's all fun and games. It'll be nothing more than 6 months until they get together as a group and majority vote to remove the point reduction that the Premier League have put in place anyway. Because they're all shareholders of it, aren't they? All individual shareholders as 20 separate teams. So all they need is 14, isn't it? 14 of them to agree, and it's done. something like that.
Yeah,
a majority on it or something. So it's a mess, isn't it? And I think it's been on the horizon for a while. I think just world football in general, the way that they live, the way they spend, and the way that it's just a business that is able to run at such a humongous loss. I think it's all coming to a head at once, and I think the Premier League are doing the right thing to protect the Premier League. I think is the way to protect it is to get them to fall in line to some reasonable rules. They're still allowed to lose shitloads of money. I can't remember what the exact number is, but they just want them to lose a little less, don't they? Yeah.
So 105 over a three-year period. Sorry.
That's right. Yeah.
They are changing the rules though, aren't they? So they're doing some sort of like, I can't remember what it is. They're getting rid of scrapping FFP, PSR, whatever it's called, and they're putting something in. It's like a salary cap / thing. It's not really a salary cap, but it's some sort of cap, isn't it? I don't know. Or the intention was to do it based on the team with the least amount of revenue times a certain amount. So you could does that
rings a bell.
Premier League revenue, not as in total revenue, as in Premier League money revenue. So like let's just say you get someone, whoever's 20th gets 40 million, then that means someone can spend 120 million max or something. I don't know what the deal is. So everyone can only spend up to, you know what I'm saying? Everyone can only spend up to
keep
that
it
limit.
Fair. Yeah.
But they are suggesting that new rules that they're agreeing on are basically a shaft in the pyramid as well, isn't it? It's rules that they are giving less to because of these new rules coming in. They're going, you're punishing us this way. It means that we have to be giving the Football League less because you're taking more from us. It's just it is sad how selfish the Premier League are with it, and I know that they buy a lot of players from the Football League, but it really is only the top echelons of the Championship that get the Premier League money for players, and that's becoming less and less because they go abroad and spend more on a wonder kid from Spain that nobody's heard of instead. So it's just it is a tough time, isn't it? I think it's all been coming to a head for such a long time, and we'll just have to wait and see. You don't want it to damage the product, but you just worry that it's going to, and at some point, what's going to damage it more? What we're doing at the moment, or what the new rules will do? So
it's hard because there needs something in place, but almost everything's going to stifle some kind of flow of money. And then the argument then is, if you're stifling flow of money from the richest teams,
they'll just go off and do it elsewhere. But that's why they're going. That's why they want to go. Yeah. But that's why they want to go and create their own Super League, so they can just do whatever they want.
Make their own rules. Yeah.
Exactly.
Not be relegated.
But that means they don't give a shit about the actual football. They don't care about the clubs. They don't care about the fans.
The money.
Well, I would have thought, by the way, these newer rules that are supposedly coming in next year would, in essence, make. Sorry, I was thinking. In essence, it would make quite a lot of Premier League teams profitable. For a change, rather than losing 105 million over a certain length of time, they're just capping the total spend, and I imagine quite a few of those teams make over that amount of money in revenue a year. Not all of them, obviously, but a decent amount of them, I would have thought.
Would have thought so.
So it might make, people like, I know Man United's a prime example, being a massive club in terms of revenue, but they might be making money hand over fist now anyway. But I imagine clubs like, say, I don't know, let's just use Wolves or even Bournemouth as an example. Would they start to become profitable? And then
isn't Bournemouth one of the ones that is profitable though? I've got a feeling it.
Yes,
Brighton is. Brighton's the most profitable, isn't it? I think in recent times.
It is. Yeah.
But what I mean
how much they've got from Chelsea, it kind of explains why.
I'm just thinking more in terms of, if you have this cap in place and Bournemouth make more money in a calendar year than that cap, then they're ultimately making money, aren't they? And they will continue to do that so long as they stay in that, so, and then that can be reinvested into the club, or in theory reinvested into the pyramid. Not that it would be, but
so how is it then that clubs can survive as making such massive losses on a yearly basis? Is that because their owners are just
owners
bankrolling it? But how is that possible? I don't really understand that.
it's money out of their own pocket, essentially. They cover the shortfall. So, and a good example of Maxim Denham, the year that Bournemouth got promoted to the Championship, was paying every home game cost him £1 million.
Bloody hell.
So he took that gamble the year they got promoted, is the wages and everything else around it. He gambled on losing £1 million every other week, essentially every home game, to get them promoted. And that's the sort of thing that they don't want them to do, because then what happens is the moment that plug is pulled, and that Russian billionaire or that Saudi prince doesn't want to put that money into it anymore, they can pull it at any point. And then what does the team do? What does the club do? And that leaves people like, is it Bury and the other teams that have gone into existence? It's exactly that they're worried about. Oldham, That's my understanding behind it, and this is where City, I know I laboured the point before, but this is where the whole City were trying to work a way around it. They were sponsoring themselves with their own companies and saying, oh, this company has given us 35 million to have a 2-second slot on an advertisement board in the stadium. And that's their that's their way around it, and that's the smart side of it, isn't it? They're able to do that, and they've got.
Well, was it the Derby did? Didn't they sell themselves? Didn't they buy their own stadium or something? Didn't they sell themselves their own stadium and then rented it? Or no, they sold their own stadium and then rented it back, or something.
Yeah, something crazy like that. It is it's a sorry state of affairs, and sadly, more time now seems to be spoken about finances and referees than the actual football.
Yeah,
and it dilutes the thing that we all love so much, and more. I think every time there's a point deduction, every time there's a problem, I think that's a step closer to the European Super League being formed. And every time every time another Yank takes over a team, as much as I love the Bill Foley who's taken over Bournemouth and what he's doing for the club, I think they are closer and closer to being majority in there and being able to make the decisions how they want them. They reckon Wrexham and Birmingham are going to be the first teams to play a league game in America.
Wow.
Obviously, because of the Tom Brady situation with and the ownership of Birmingham, and then the Wrexham obvious one. They reckon their league game, they've requested for their league game to be, or at least one of their league games to be played in America. And it's all about the money spin, isn't it? That's all to maximise.
Oh yeah, it's the same. It's the same way the NFL do London games, So
I think they need to be careful at Wrexham though, because they came in going, the first thing was that they respected the fans, respected the club, blah blah blah, and they've made a whole big thing about that. If they suddenly start taking a lean to try and Americanise it, I think they're going to lose their fan base if they do that.
I'm pretty certain they're running on a loss all the time as well.
I think they are. Yeah, I think they are.
Yeah. And this is the gamble that you take, and what the Football Association are trying to eliminate is those gambles being taken, because inevitably, if you gamble, eventually you lose.
Yeah.
And that's where the problem sits, and that you lose by not being able to pay the wages and not being able to. I think only a couple of seasons ago, I think Birmingham City went through 6 or 7 weeks of not paying any staff at all, not just the playing staff, anybody at all.
Yeah, they're in a bit of a pickle.
Sorry, 6 months. Sorry, not. I think it was in that sort of region, and it just absolutely mental that it was so many risks being taken with people's livelihood as well.
Yeah,
and that's where I think the Germans have got it right. The Germans have the 51% ownership of the fans have 51% ownership, don't they? So that will always
is that of all clubs though?
Yeah.
Wow. So they sort their pitches out then.
Yeah, right. Honestly. Apparently, the Frankfurt. I know we're moving on slightly. I was listening to radio today. The pitch problem with the Frankfurt pitch. That's where it was last night, wasn't it? And where England played, and it was awful as well.
Yeah.
That was the one that was used as an NFL pitch.
Excellent.
And I think in the winter, the NFL teams absolutely destroyed it, basically, and they've never been able to save it from that point.
Wow.
But I think just to continue to use it is mental. I know that tickets have been sold and everything else around it, but
it's not as easy just to change a venue though in a big competition like that.
No, you're right, but if anything, it was becoming dangerous, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So
that was a big sidestep.
It certainly was, but yeah. I think Josh, going back to Josh's initial point, I think it is super worrying, and it is also super obvious that these teams are struggling and having to panic sell and do swap deals and find loopholes as quickly as they could before that deadline. And now we wait and see. Those accounts will be fiddled, no doubt, and published and given to the Premier League to make their decisions, and we'll see who gets points deductions this time.
Well, I hope they do. They do. If they've broken the rules, that they should be punished. We got punished, and it screwed us. It screwed us for years. So, I think they bloody should do it. And tough tits to those that it happens to. Shouldn't have done it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because one of those then, which made me just gawk a little bit, was Elliot Anderson, who's a youth player from Newcastle.
Yeah.
So he's 100% profited. He went to Nottingham Forest, who themselves have got problems.
Yeah. It's almost like whack as well, didn't he?
The Forest. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Forest one is quite funny because he's like the one owner where I just feel like he's like, he'll just go, fuck the rules, I don't care. What are they gonna do? A few times already. yeah. What are they gonna do? So like,
Maracas
just strikes his. Yeah, I just don't know who it is, but he just strikes me as the type, So I just figured
they'll be really buggered though, won't they, if they go down?
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
He owns Panathinaikos, I think. Is it the team that won the Europa League or the Europa Conference League? One of them. His team. He owns the team that won, one of the Greek team that won that.
Right.
He's got many fingers and many pies, and I think because he was on the bloody. He did a full John Terry. Admittedly, he wasn't in the kit, but he was right in amongst the celebrations and giving it large as you'd expect him to. So, along the lines of transfers and bits and pieces, there's a few ones that caught my attention. I know, Josh, I think you've written down some. One that is very close to home is allegedly Southampton had offered $6 million for Max Aarons, which is mental, I think.
Insulting, yeah. As you said before the pod, didn't you? It was a bit insulting.
A lot of the time, though, I think it is suggested that not many teams make an offer without having a good idea that they could potentially stand a chance or have had conversations with the player. But I know the whole tapping up thing is pretty much every transfer now. But it does smack as a bit insulting, and it does also smack as a bit worrying why you would want to let him go. Adam
Did
Smith
he only come last season? Because he was at Norwich, wasn't he? Was it Norwich?
Yeah, he was at Norwich for a long time. I think he was
he was long-term injured though
for a long time. Yeah, you're right. So he very interesting. I'd be very sad to see him go, and the fact that Adam Smith is pretty long in the tooth now. He had a great season last season, but he definitely isn't going to be around too much longer, I don't think. And then Dewsbury Hall from Leicester, another team that I think are probably going to be struggling with the financial fair play side of things, have sold their star boy, I think, from what Kev was saying. A few weeks ago, he said as long as we don't lose him, and lo and behold, I think they have. Well, they have. So that's an interesting one. Going to Chelsea, obviously following his old boss.
Yeah. There was Archie Gray to Spurs for quite a bit of money from Leeds.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is he meant to be like a superstar? Is he? 40 million.
He's quite a talented kid. Yeah. I think that'll scupper Leeds. That'll scupper Leeds big time.
Well, they'll lose a few players. That they are losing. They also are massively in the red as well, aren't they? They have to sell. A bit of a fire sale going on there too. So, it's a tough time, and it's sad. Like the Newcastle situation, Newcastle selling a young prospect that they've worked really hard to promote, and really didn't, from what I understand, didn't want to lose and didn't want to sell, but they have to sell him to stay in amongst it and not have point deductions. You kind of you're forcing negative behaviour, really, aren't you? You want those players to be promoted and continue to get the chance.
Yeah,
it's tough, isn't it?
That's the difficulty, though, isn't it? When they're the players of the commodity, aren't they? They're the one. They're the product. They're the thing that makes the money. So it's tough. You are dealing with human beings. It's difficult. It's a difficult one. But at the same time, the player doesn't have to go if he don't want to. The player can make the final choice. They're not forced to do it, are they? If they don't want to go, they don't have to.
Yeah. Just a thought as well. Did you see that Adam Lallana went back to Saints?
Has he?
Yeah.
Has he? I didn't know.
I think he's going to have one more crack at the Premier League with Saints.
Fair play.
He's gone there on a free from Brighton. I think they just terminated his contract, or it did come to the end of it. But yeah, he's gone back to them. I don't think he'll play a great deal, but I know that he's coaching. I know he was being touted around for being Graham Potter's temporary replacement when he first went before they got De Zerbi, and I think he's mad keen on his badges and his coaching. So he's worked with some brilliant coaches like Jurgen Klopp, Brendan Rodgers, and a few of the others, and De Zerbi obviously. So I think there's a chance that he could move into management. But yeah, that's one that I just remembered caught my attention a little while back. Yeah. I think their video to reveal him showed him all of the Saints kits that he's played in, and that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice one. Just a couple of quick ones before we move on to Euros. I daren't talk about Man United most of the time, but there has actually been some serious movement in Man United. So Dan Ashworth, is now the sporting director of Man United after some sort of agreement has come to place. So they've now got Dan Ashworth from Newcastle, Omar Barada from Man City, who's now in place.
Yeah.
And is it Mr. Wilcox? Don't know if it's Joe or someone like that. Joe Wilcox in place as well. So they've kind of sorted their upper management. They've now got Van Nistelrooy and Rene Heck coaching at Man United behind Erik ten Hag.
Okay.
Which is impressive considering that Van Nistelrooy was very successful with PSV Eindhoven.
Yeah, he was first team manager there, wasn't
he? Yeah. So it's kind of strange that he's not taking another first team job as such, or he is. What I mean is, as the main man. Yeah. He's come back to Man United, and that should be nothing but good for the
definitely.
Also the Dutch kind of link there as well.
Yeah, obviously I don't think we'd had a chance to mention that the whole Ten Hag thing, Josh. I think that kind of bypassed in other bits that we're doing with the podcast, but obviously but he's got the backing, isn't he? Sounds like he's going to sign a new contract as well.
Yeah, I'm happy with that, to be honest. The last thing they should have done was say, "Oh, we'll keep you," and then just keep him on his current contract or kind of for a year, like he's looking for the door, or like they're looking for someone else. They need to say, that's why I think it took them so long, because they were like, okay, if we're keeping him long term. We're not effing around. So and they have definitely backed him now. I mean, they've got the 3 new guys above him to handle transfers and running of the sport inside of the club. They've got 2 new, pretty well-respected coaches to help him along, who could be first-team managers in their own right. And then they're looking at getting a couple of other Dutch players in, which I find quite funny.
Yeah,
it's just
off the back of the Euros.
Yeah. Well, Joshua Zirkzee, the forward from Bologna, he's got a release clause of about 40 million euros or something. He sounds like he's going to be a Man United player. And then De Ligt from Bayern.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting.
That'd be a good shout.
For about the same kind of money, I think.
He's quality, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of went downhill with him, though, didn't it? Eric Dyer's come in and taken his place. That kind of gives me an idea of how
I do find it quite funny. But but anyway, that's what I thought I'd say about Man United. So they seem like they're trying to get their shit together, basically. So we'll see if it works.
It certainly seems it, doesn't it? Sorting out that hierarchy was a big thing. I think that was certainly considered as a big problem. So yeah, let's watch this space. Yeah. Positive things behind the team should give them the best chance of being positive on the pitch.
Yeah.
One can I think so. And I think he'll still be as ruthless as ever where it comes to the first team if anyone's not showing up and doing their bit. So
yeah, Ben mentioned earlier in the chat about Sancho being linked with Arsenal. I had heard it, but only as rumours.
Only rumours.
Yeah. Is that still rumour?
I think he's been linked with loads of Premier League clubs, but it just made me laugh.
Of course he has. They want him out the door.
I don't think. I think Dortmund's perfect for him, but Dortmund won't spend the money, will they?
No. Well, they won't spend the money that
they won't spend the Premier League
40 million or something. He won't spend 40 million, which is what Man United want or something. Yeah. I mean, because everyone knows he's not got a future there. So why would they pay 40 million?
Totally.
Man United will get desperate to get rid of him. So
yeah, I'm sure he'll get loaned out again. I reckon.
Yeah, we'll have him. It's the same with Mason Greenwood.
Send him our way.
So,
no problem.
Greenwood's still on the books, so he'll be.
That's a
he'll be
difficult
gone
one,
as well.
isn't it?
He's been linked with a couple of big clubs, hasn't he?
Seville, he's never going to play for United again, though, is he?
No, I don't think he'll play in England again.
No. Well, maybe lower down the league, but I don't think.
Big clubs.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah.
Well, we've managed to extend Sinclair Armstrong's contract for another year. He had a year add-on clause, and so we've kept hold of him. And no one's interested in this, by the way, but I'll throw it out there. And we're currently renegotiating Chrissy Willocks. He's out of contract this summer, so he's technically a free agent, but he wants to stay. He wants to stay. He wants to carry on with good old Marty Cifuentes, and so hopefully we'll keep hold of him, which will stand us in good stead. We've just signed a new goalkeeper. Begovic has moved on because he did a year and he's moved on, but we've got a brand new keeper come in, so it's all going well. He'll go somewhere, but he was only on a year contract with us anyway, so
I can see him playing in the States. He basically speaks American. He's got proper American twang to him.
Yeah. I don't know if he'll play or will go somewhere as a coach. I don't know, but he had a fantastic season for us, and I know he's enjoyed it there as well, which has been really good. So yeah.
Super Steve Cook still on the books? Is he?
Well, I think so. I think he's there for another season. I think we signed him for 2 seasons. So yeah, I think he's got another year to go.
Yeah.
So he'll be big for us again next season. Some of those older boys that are in, Colback's another one. I think he's staying. I think we ended the season really well. We had the best. We're in the top. If we're doing on the second half of the season, we'd have been in the top 6. So if we can carry that on into next season, happy days. We should be up there fighting for something. But we do it every season. We always think that, and then we ultimately have a terrible first half of the season, or we have a really good first half of the season, and it all goes horribly wrong at Christmas. So
it's crazy fun. How quickly that's going to come around, though, isn't it? What do you know when your first game is?
With West Brom, are we home or I think it's West Brom. I can't remember if we're home or away though. But I know we've got some of the big clubs in the first 3 or 4 games. Sheffield United away. It must be West Brom home first game, because I think Sheffield United away is the second game.
Yeah.
But we're playing someone crappy in the Carabao Cup, Cambridge United.
Oh, you regret saying that.
Apologies to any Cambridge fans out there. I think it's Cambridge in the Carabao Cup first round. I think we're playing them. So we'll probably lose that. We generally lose our first round of the Carabao Cup.
So you are on the 10th of August at home to West Brom.
There you go. Yeah.
So it looks like that's first weekend. I think the Friday night you've got a couple of games in the Championship: Preston and Sheffield United, and Blackburn and Derby.
Yeah.
So that's
comes around quick, doesn't it?
Oh my God, that's crazy how quick that is. What is it? It's only just shy of a month, isn't it? Yeah.
But that's the beauty of having a competition over the summer. You don't have that dead month that you're kind of twiddling your fingers.
Yeah, and we've got the Olympics just in between it as well, which should be enjoyable. I do enjoy the Olympics too.
Yeah, man.
So, it's coming around quick.
Too much sport.
Yeah, no such thing as too much.
No.
Just moving on to the Euro stuff before we talk the England stuff. I wanted to have a little recap of our pre-tournament. I think.
I was going to say, in the 20 minutes we have left, because obviously we've got football, Jack.
Let's fly through.
We should say we'll be able to give ourselves a quick run through of the Euros and then a bit on the England, because we did cover England quite extensively.
Yeah.
Before. And
I won't rattle on. Sure. Just tell me shut up.
What I've got written down. So let's start with Ben. So Ben's prediction to win it is England. So very much still in it, and
still there. They're still there.
Looks, it could happen bizarrely. We both know it won't.
You never know, Jack.
You had Golden Boot. You had Mr. Kane.
He's up to 2.
He's on 2. Yeah, there isn't anybody that's leading that by miles either, is there?
Gakpo got another one today.
Oh no, own goal is leading it by miles.
Yeah, that right. Yeah, well, that doesn't count.
8 or 9 goals for own goal.
Yeah, Gakpo's leading that at the moment, isn't he?
Gakpo's got 3. I think Musiala's got 3.
Yeah. Kai's got 2, who was my prediction for Golden Boot.
Who?
Kai Havertz has got 2.
Havertz has got 2.
Whilst you recall those, I had your surprise package as Switzerland/Austria. So the Swiss the Austrians
doing
have
very well.
Been impressive. They are currently losing 1-0 to Turkey.
Are they?
In the very first minute of that game. So that's
they'll come back, man. They'll come back.
I went with Germany to win it. Kai Havertz, as I mentioned, to be the Golden Boot winner. Surprise team to be Scotland, and the only people I think they surprised were themselves and how shit they were.
That's harsh. You're not going to make any friends like that, Jackie. I thought they played a really good. Their second game, to be fair, I thought they did really well. They really fought hard. The first game they were blown away, but you know, you kind of saw that coming. Do you know what I mean? Germany at home, first game, I think they knew they were going to get pumped. Second game, I thought they did well, and I felt a bit for them. But
I know that they never want us to do well, but joking aside, I did want them to do well, and I did kind of expect them to do better than they did, which is a shame. I did have written down as well that I know that we didn't ask it, but I did it anyway. As this kind of a player that I was expecting to stand out and potential player of the tournament, Granit Xhaka. Now we'll see how he gets on against England on Saturday night.
Yeah, he's done well.
So far,
it's almost like they've got Arsenal connections, you know, Xhaka and Havertz.
I have it, Xhaka, yeah. Maybe I watched as much as I could have by Leverkusen last season when it was on TV, and he's gone on to that one season that he had for us that we just wish we could have kept him for one more season.
Yeah,
he just turned into an absolute beast, and I just think his maturity has gone through the roof now.
Yeah, he's excellent.
Saying that, he might get himself a red card when he's a couple down against England on Saturday. But
one can hope. You know.
Yeah, he'll have a bad game on Saturday.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
He'll get aggy again. He'll meet up some of his old pals and get a bit aggy and lose his shit, and that'll be the end of him.
Yeah, hopefully. That's right. And then we had Josh with Portugal as the winner, so he's still very much in it, although by the skin of their teeth last night, I'd suggest.
Yeah, man.
Golden Boot and Mbappe, has he got one?
No.
Penalty?
No, he's got a penalty, I think.
Yeah.
He's scored one. They haven't scored from open play yet, have they?
No, they haven't, no.
But they're a slow burner, aren't they? They're a bit like the Germany of old, slow burners.
Yeah, never right.
And
Italy
is similar. I will say though, they were lucky to get through against, but lucky, but they're riding their luck. They get through against Belgium.
There's plenty of teams that are riding their luck, mate, and I'll put England at the top of that list.
Very much so, yeah. And your surprise
that probably tells you England aren't quite as bad. Yes, well,
they're
still going.
Yeah, they're brilliant today, I think, from
3-0.
From what I've read. They turned up today and did the business. So, it's certainly interesting. I think they probably if they played like that and things had been slightly different and they ended up playing us, I reckon they probably would have beaten us playing that way in the way that we've been playing. So we count our lucky stars that we're on to the next one. So, yeah, I don't think we're too far off. There's nothing groundbreaking in that. Somebody hasn't, bar Austria, I must admit. Ben's suggestion of Austria being.
Well, he's saying that it looks like they're going to go out tonight, but hopefully they don't. they've been really good to watch now. They've played a really good brand of football.
Been really good. My argument is, and my question to you then, shall we, if we're happy to not move on to England per se,
go on,
is
do it.
They're in English side. They're in the England side of the draw. Turkey or Austria. Who would you rather?
Turkey.
Yeah, so they're 1-0 up with 39 minutes in as of right now as we record this.
I think Austria,
as Jack said, inside the first minute, but Austria have been the most dominant team here. Anyway, so
Spain.
So it's interesting
got to be
because
Spain in it. Got to be
Spain. I was going to say this. Spain
Germany,
look like the only team they're the only team, and I mean this seriously, the only team who genuinely you'd really can't see anyone beating.
No, I think Germany. I think Germany as well. We've got
Germany were vulnerable, man.
I don't think Germany have got.
They were lucky to get. They were lucky to get out of that Denmark game in the way they did. I know in the end it seems more comfortable, but VAR swing one way or the other, and that's a big thing to take. For any team.
It's cliche, but you've got the luck has got to be on your side to get through.
Absolutely.
As well.
They've got that. They've got luck. They're also on home soil, but they're going to have to be totally at the races to beat that Spanish side. I mean, Jesus Christ. the way Georgia obviously the other day scored first, but they were never going to win that game. But bloody hell, they gave it a good go. But as soon as they kind of let a goal in, that was it. The gates opened, and it was like Spain can just go on their way now. And I think they'll do that against the Germans. I think they'll do it against anyone they come up against. To be honest, I think they're the side to beat.
I was going to say, if England managed to get to the final when they play Spain, I cannot see.
No.
Yeah, I just can't. Like, it'll be 3 or 4-0, I think, after Spain.
That Nico Williams looks incredible, doesn't he? And that Lamine Lamal.
Williams on one side and Lamal on the other side, and Morata through the middle. I mean, they've been really good. Really
in
good.
The evening games, due to German law, because of his age, he can't play past a certain time.
Really?
He's 16, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's only a youngster.
Yeah.
So I think
he can't play the late games.
I read somewhere there's past a certain time, because of German labour law, he can't work past a certain time.
So he can only play the first half.
Not German. So hopefully for the final, he can only play the first half against England.
That'd be harsh, wouldn't it?
He looks class though, doesn't he? He looks
he does.
Absolute baller at that age. It's Spain.
Did he play the full game though? Did he play the full game the last game?
He did, but that's because it was a 5 o'clock.
Don't he come? No,
that wasn't.
Did they not bring him off?
It wasn't. It was an 8 o'clock kickoff.
I'll have a look. Whilst we move on to England, I'll have a little look at what time he was subbed.
I'm pretty certain it was an 8 o'clock kickoff. Because I went to the cinema at 8 o'clock to see. Yeah. Because I thought, that one's done. So there's anyway.
They're the team, I think. Spain. I think you've got to. They're the only ones that have really turned up so far.
Yeah, I was going to say Portugal looked beatable easily.
Massively. I mean, what the flipping heck was the
today,
tears about from Ronaldo? We've got to talk about that.
To be fair, I am not going to be anywhere near as harsh on it as you guys are, and it's not because of any affiliation with it. I just think it's one of these things where you think if you're Cristiano Ronaldo, everyone knows how bloody competitive he is. I realise it was a bit of an overreaction, but at the same time, I think to myself, it is a bit like weight of the country on his shoulders kind of thing.
It doesn't have to be though. It doesn't have to be.
No, it doesn't. But that's how he sees it, and I know everything I've ever read and known about the guy. That's going to be the case. He misses that penalty, or rather, it was a good save.
He must have some serious, mate. He must have some serious issues. I feel sorry for him with the amount of the pressure that must be on his shoulders. It is offensive, but at the same time, he was still in the game, so he missed a pen. He didn't miss it either. It was saved. You know what I mean? It's not like he skied it like Harry Kane did.
Yeah, I can't tell you what it is, but obviously he got the better of him. I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing, but just that's how it was. To be fair to him, he stepped up and took the first penalty, which he always was going to do.
Yeah, fair play. Yeah, fair
play. The penalty shootout and buried that. So, no problem at all. Bruno Fernandes stepped up, looked it past.
I know, that was incredible. The keeper, though, holy moly. What I know they weren't the greatest pens, but Jesus Christ, 3 saves, just to go the right way, to be fair.
Yeah. So just quickly on the I'm talking absolute shite with it. He did play 90 minutes and an 8 p.m. kickoff, so I've probably been sold an absolute dud there. And also on the Ronaldo thing, I was always firmly Ronaldo over Messi, but the longer Ronaldo's going into his career, the less I like him. And I think his behaviour was laughable last night. I know it means so much to him, and I love that. But
it's going to be a last tournament, though, right?
That's the thing. It
is last Euros, yeah.
The theatrics and the throwing his hands around, and I think Portugal. We should be talking about Portugal like we are with Spain, going we can't see past them.
I agree.
But if he wasn't playing, the last coach dropped him, didn't he, for one of the big games in the World Cup. And the fella that came on, you probably remember better than me, Josh. The fella that came on instead of him, played up front, scored a hat trick.
He did,
and kind of proved his worth. And I think Roberto Martinez has gone back to pampering to him, and he just.
I think ultimately, it's like we said, it's his last tournament, so they're going to give him they're going to say, look, go out on a high. This is your last one. Just go and do what you want. And maybe I think that's why the pressure got to him last night, because he knew if they went out, that was his last game for his country, and to miss a penalty in that as well, he's going to go out in a horrible horrible circumstances. So that's probably why that kind of got to him.
Yeah, I was going to say he very much believed it was his fault.
Yeah, but I agree that Portuguese side would be so much better without him, because they've got some brilliant players that they would play much better as a team. He took every free kick. The
free kicks I don't understand, but the fact that he's had, I mean, I was just reading this earlier, he's had the most shots of anyone in the tournament.
Yeah, he hasn't scored any though, has he?
Well, no. Yeah, I mean, he's had over 3 XG or something, like silly, and not scored. So
I heard an interesting fact though, that his free kick conversions, he scored 1 in 59.
Yeah.
I
think it's that sort of number. Yeah. Do you see that Rafael laughing when he got taken off? I think he's the only one that kind of like, are you seriously taking me off and not him off? Like, he looks an incredible player, and I've seen bits of him in the Champions League, but not really a lot. And he was on that dodgy pitch, the ball bouncing everywhere, and it was like old school. He was just, ball was stuck to his feet like glue, like they were glued. And again, to take him off instead of Ronaldo and leave him on, just seemed bizarre. But
how he's got there, right?
Right, I suggest that we've got maximum 10 minutes. 10 minutes to talk.
Yeah. I was going to say, So
I will be very short and sweet.
Go.
Get it over and done with. Let's move on. Let's get a new coach in. I think if we get beaten, I think we're very lucky, and I think Southgate, again, I prefer my manager to be lucky than not. But he was hanging on by a thread of his teeth. I think the difference between a Jude Bellingham boot and overhead kick and not was keeping him in that job.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
I want him to do
he's
well.
Gone anyway, isn't he?
I'm just not enjoying it. And I think I would like to see him replaced at the end of it with a progressive, positive coach. And that's it. That's all I've got to say on it.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I'd agree with you. I think basically, it's funny. I said this the other week to someone. I said I'd almost rather us be out, because that way it's over. And like, I know it's terrible, isn't it? I want us to win it, but what I mean is how dross it's been. If we deserve to be out against Slovakia, which we really probably should have been, and we were out, I wouldn't have gone away and gone. I would have been extremely disappointed and think, "What the fuck was that?" But at the same time, I'd be like relieved, because I'd be like, "Well, thank God Southgate's gone. We've still got a huge wealth of really young talent.
Yeah.
Even if Harry Kane's gone for the next tournament, I think he'll still go. But like, even if he wasn't there for the next tournament, or Kyle Walker wasn't there, or various other people who are up there, Kieran Trippier, still a wealth of young players that any new coach and anyone even slightly progressive would. We talk about progressive coach. I mean, I have no idea who we'd have, but
Eddie.
Ultimately, we just everyone wants Eddie Howe, but he won't do it. It's more just we want someone who's got any kind of tactical nous, don't we? Who knows when to do substitutes and knows how to change a game. You don't need them to be the best manager in the world, because you've got some of the best players in the world. You just need them to select a team that works well together.
And you said that last week on the pod, didn't you?
Yeah,
and that's right. Yeah. An international manager should be more of a man manager that can bring the best players that the country can offer together and get them playing as a team together, and just put them in the right position and say, right, this is what we're going to do. You go out and do what you do for your club. And I tend to agree with that. I think Southgate has been weighed down this tournament specifically, because in the last few tournaments there hasn't been the expectation. There is now this expectation for them to go on and win it, and they've got this added pressure now that, of course, that the fans expect, the media expects. They've gone in as one of the favourites to win it, so everyone expects, and there's all this pressure to go in and win, but not just win, but win spectacularly. But if you look at the tournament itself, none of the main teams, apart from Germany on the first day against Scotland, Spain are probably the only other team that are looking any good. France are failing miserably. Belgium have failed. They've gone out. So the big teams that you're expecting to do well haven't been doing well at all. The Dutch are probably creeping up slowly, but Spain and Portugal are not looking great either. So I think if you look by the way. Hey, sorry?
Spain looked unreal.
Spain and Portugal.
No, sorry, Spain looked great, and Portugal don't. So sorry, I mean Spain looked really good. Portugal don't. So if you look at the tournament that's been played as it is, on the whole, it's been pretty average. There've been some good some sort of occasional good performances from teams that you wouldn't expect, like Georgia beating Portugal, Georgia in the first half against Spain, the Ukraine comeback, Austria, Switzerland's result. So, I think England are holding their own. It's just that they're not playing the type of football that we think they should be. And I'm hoping, and I go into every match hoping that it's going to click, because I genuinely thought we would turn up against Slovakia. And they didn't. And the most frustrating thing is they play this really horrible defensive, sideways, backwards passing game, which is just shit to watch. And for 95 minutes of that game, it was appallingly awful. And I felt mortified. And then that one moment of sheer joy when Bellingham smashed it in, and the way that he did it, I nearly gave my kids a heart attack. I shouted so loudly. Scotty broke his TV, which I thought was quite amusing. Poor bugger.
My dad was about to get up and get a bottle of wine because I was over. I'm just going to drown my sorrows now.
Did you see all the fans leaving the stadium and then trying to get back in? That was quite funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, one thing I will say is, let's try. I'm just as an optimism point before we leave here.
Yeah.
We've been playing really badly.
Yeah, poor, really
but
poor.
At no point, apart from literally the Slovakia goal, did I ever feel like Slovakia had any real control of that game. Yeah,
no.
The same as all the other games, basically. Yeah. Couple of threat here and there, but realistically, no real threat.
No.
I think England play to their opposition too much. So I'm hoping that when they come against the Swiss, they'll raise their level because they have no choice.
Yeah. And I also think it'll be a different game. Because the Swiss will be much more open.
Yeah. I think just as a thing is, to be playing as poorly as we know that they can play, or not to the level where they can play, and still be in a quarterfinals on a good side of a draw, just if. I'm not saying it's a big if, it is a massive if. But if they can just raise that level just a little bit, there should be no excuse for them not to get to the final, in my opinion. And so
I agree with you.
I can see the optimism in it that we're playing terrible and still grinding out results. Imagine if we were playing well. I
think they're playing themselves. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it feels like they're beating themselves. It's definitely a mental thing, because there were some real flashes in that game of how they can play. And I mean, that second goal, I know Tony came on and made a difference. In fact, all the subs came on and made a difference, and he's going to be forced into making changes this time around. So I think it'll be quite interesting to see what he comes up with.
He'll make two. Yeah.
Mark
So what's he going to do about Gahey then? So what's he going to do?
So he'll play Konsa, I'm sure. So he'll play
just straight swap.
He'll just and then if Trippier isn't fit, and Luke Shaw's had a full week, he might play Luke Shaw. Yeah.
Really? Do you think
I'm not saying he will,
Switzerland?
but he might play, or he'll play Trent and play Walker at left back.
Yes, that's what I think. He'll probably do.
So that's what I'm saying. So, and that's it. That's the only change he'll make. The changes.
So
you've had a full week, remember. So the rest is there.
What I'm expecting is 3 at the back with wing backs.
Bloody. Yeah.
So who's the three? Who's the three? Konsa, Stones, and
Walker.
Yeah, Konsa, Stones,
Walker.
Sorry.
Yeah, with who on the left?
Saka
on the left.
Wing back. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Trent, right wing back.
Trent on the right wing back, and then however he does that middle, probably stick with.
Palmer's got to start, hasn't he?
Did you? Yeah, I agree.
He has to lose one in the middle though.
Saka's coming for a lot of slack, and I know Josh has already referenced my Arsenal bias, but Saka played 3 different positions the other night.
Yeah. I thought he did really well, to be fair to him.
And I don't think he had a bad game. I think offensively, I think he was in the position where he needed to be. He was taking players on when he got the opportunity.
Yeah.
But like this is the whole thing. I know I said I wouldn't say much on it. This is the whole thing, not just Saka. It's everybody else. He's playing players. You go, oh, this is your position. You're amazing in the Premier League at that. I'm not going to play you in that position. I'm going to play somewhere else. And I'm also going to make it really hard for you to not do well by not giving you or not encouraging. So I said last week, Ben, I'm sure you heard, Saka's success and create space he gets space created for him by Ben White going round him and overlapping.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Walker
didn't do that
once. And Walker is rapid.
He's done it a few times, but he's been told not to do it though, isn't he? Let's face it, he's been told not to do it.
That's what I mean.
He's been told not to do it. Trippier's been told he's the one side that can go forward.
Yeah.
And Trippier is right-footed on the left-hand side.
Because he gets
the other way round.
The byline and has to cut back and cross it in, and everyone knows what he's going to do.
Yeah. Don't forget though, you've got to remember, England have got a massive target on their back. So they are the team to beat going into this tournament. So every team will be setting up to frustrate and do exactly what they have been doing. No one's going to, it's not like a few years ago when we were going under the radar a little bit because it's little old England. They always think they're going to win, but actually they're a bit shit. People actually think England are a decent side now. So they will be setting up specifically to get at the players and frustrate them. So it's like Josh, you're absolutely right. We've played really badly and we're still in the quarterfinal of Euros. And it can only get better, right? It can only get better. I'm forever an optimist, and I know on their day, if them boys turn up, they'll go out there and they'll win. But if they don't, they'll get ripped to shreds.
Think, by the way, what they've done, and Gareth, let's just laud Gareth Southgate's genius for this. What they've done is they've played so poorly that no one's going to bat an eyelid if they lose to the Swiss.
No, that's very true.
How much genius is that?
Yeah. It's true.
They played so poorly. Everyone's expecting them to lose against Swiss.
Yeah. But then if they go in and pump them 4-0, then they'll be expecting them to win the whole thing, and then we'll lose in the semi-final. So you can't win either way.
What's mental in the 4 games that we've had, the only enjoyable moment has to be Jude's goal, Jude's bicycle.
It was a good goal, wasn't it?
It was,
and not just because of the way that he did it, but the time that it happened. Because I'd given up. I was like, "There's no way we're done."
Yeah.
And then that moment of pure joy, and then for Kane to pump one in the first 30 seconds of extra time as well, brilliant.
Yeah,
brilliant.
I liked.
That's what it's all about, man.
I like what I must. Admit,
I thought Tony was great.
Tony's performance and his shithousery is getting stuck into. No, Mark Gay got the assist.
Well, Gay got the assist for the other one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I think his demeanour on the pitch and how he was, he probably should have buried that last chance he had as well. I think he hit it too hard, didn't he? But
I really enjoyed the fact, that he brought them those late subs on. Eze and Tony came on, and they had the full game, the full 30 minutes of extra time to play. I thought Eze was great as well.
He didn't know that though.
No, I know he didn't.
No, I know he didn't.
No, of course he didn't.
Do you hear Gareth actually say in an interview afterwards? He said he brought Tony on with like seconds to go because he just had a feeling something was going to happen.
Well, and Tony was absolutely fuming with him, wasn't he? He said,
and Tony was fucking fuming.
Me now.
Love it.
Anyway,
but we're still there, boys. We're still there. We're still there. Yeah. This time next week, we'll be talking about who we're playing in the semi-finals, right?
Yeah. I bloody hope so.
Yes.
Anyway, I think we will be. Anyway, so we'll leave it there, lads. Unfortunately, time is up for myself and that.
You boys go and kick a ball.
Yeah, thank you everybody for listening. And we'll be back next week. Keep going, Bournemouth lads. Little and often is fine by us, so you can do it. Keep being positive with it, and let's help each other and get through it.
Absolutely. And support England at the same time.
Yeah, come on, England.
Yeah,
mate. I wear my top hat and my flag every game.
Yeah, good man.
I'll send you a pic. Send you a pic after the next one.
Love it. All right,
cheers boys. Take it easy.
Cheerio.
Bye.